Today is day 7 of your STAAR review, and we will be discussing modeling and solving equations as well as word problem equations in this video. So going to your STAAR review folder, you should have already glued this in. If you haven't, you can go ahead and turn to page 6, and your foldable is going to be glued right here. So we're going to start off by looking at modeling and solving equations. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this flap, and we're going to take a look at number 1. So number 1 says an equation is modeled below. What value of x would make this equation true? So for starters, I have to look at my picture here and interpret what it is saying, or how many x's I have and how many 1's I have. Once I have determined that, then I can go ahead and solve for x. So here I have 2 x's, so my equation is 2x. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negative 7's, so this is minus 7. And this equals 1, 2, 3 negative x's, so negative 3x. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so plus 9. So now that I have modeled my equation, I want to go ahead and solve for my equation. So my first step is going to be to go ahead and look at which x value is the smallest. So here I have 2x on one side, I have negative 3x on the other. Negative 3 is smaller than 2x, and I need to cancel this out. I need to move it to the other side. So if I'm subtracting 3x right now, to cancel this out, I'm going to add 3x to both sides. When I do this, this cancels out. I'm left with 9 equals, I have 5x minus 7. Now my next step is to see what number is being added or subtracted to my x value. So right now I have 7 being subtracted from x, so I want to go ahead and do the opposite to move it over to the other side. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. When I do this, this cancels out. I'm left with 5x equals 9 plus 7, which is 16. Now my last step is to see what number is either multiplying or dividing my variable. So x right now is being multiplied by 5. So to cancel this out, I'm going to go ahead and divide by 5 on both sides. So here I have x equals 16 over 5. So when I put this in my calculator, 16 divided by 5, I get 3.2. So here x equals 3.2, which means my answer here is going to be C. So now taking a look at your foldable, this is everything you should have written down for number 1. Now we're going to go ahead and look at number 2, which again is another modeling and solving equation. So let's go ahead and look at number 2. So number 2 says an equation is modeled below. Which value of x would make this equation true? So again, we're just going to start off and we're going to write everything that we see in our picture. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. So here I have 4x. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negative 1, so 4x minus 7. And this equals 1, 2 negative x's, so negative 2x. And then plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 8, so plus 8. So my first step is to see, since I have x values on both sides, my first step is to see which x value is smaller. So I have 4x and I have a negative 2x. So I want to choose the smaller x and I want to combine it with my larger x. So since I have a negative 2x here, to cancel this out, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Once I do that, this cancels out. 4x plus 2x is 6x. Minus 7 equals 8. Now I want to see what is being added or subtracted to my x value. So I have 7 being subtracted. So I want to cancel that out and I'm going to add 7 to both sides. This cancels this out. I'm left with 6x equals 8 plus 7, which is 15. So now my next step is to see what is either multiplying or dividing my variable here. So here I have 6 multiplying my variable. So to cancel this out, I'm going to divide by 6. This cancels out. I'm left with x equals 15 divided by 6. So I'm going to put 15 divided by 6 in my calculator, and I get 2.5. So here x equals 2.5, which means our answer here is C. So now looking at your foldable, this is everything you should have written down for number 2. So that was modeling and solving equations. So now we're going to go ahead and close that flap, and we're going to now look at our word problem equations. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, and we're going to look at number 3. So for number 3, it says 2 different sized wheelbarrows and shovels are being used to move dirt. Wheelbarrow A weighs 20 pounds empty, with each shovel of dirt adding 5 pounds to its total weight. Wheelbarrow B weighs 32 pounds empty, with each shovel of dirt adding 4.25 pounds to its total weight. How many shovels of dirt will make the total weight of the 2 wheelbarrows equal? So for wheelbarrow A, empty, it is 20 pounds. For every shovel of dirt, it adds 5 pounds, so this would be plus 5x. Now this would be equal to the amount of dirt in wheelbarrow B. So wheelbarrow B starts off with 32 pounds. Plus, for every shovel of dirt, it's adding 4.25 pounds, so 4.25x. So this is the way you would model this equation. So now let's go ahead and solve this. So my first step is I see I have x's on both sides of the equal sign. My first step is to see which of them is smaller. So I have a 5x and I have 4.25x. So the smaller one, 4.25x, I want to combine it with my 5x. So since it's being added right now, I'm going to go ahead and subtract it from both sides. This cancels out. I'm left with 20. And then 5 minus 4.25 is a positive 70.75. And this is equal to 32. Now again, I want to get my x's on one side, my numbers on the other. So right now I need to go ahead and take care of the 20. Right now it's being added to 0.75x. So since it's being added, I want to do the opposite, and I want to go ahead and subtract this from both sides now. So this cancels out. I'm left with 0.75x, and this is 32 minus 20, which equals 12. So now my last step is to see what number is being multiplied or divided to my variable. So right now it's being multiplied by 0.75. Therefore, now I want to go ahead and divide by 0.75 on both sides. So this cancels out. I'm left with x equals 12 divided by 0.75, you get 16. So here it would take 16 shovels of dirt to make the weight equal. So whenever we're writing this or putting this in our griddable here, 16 it goes in front of the decimal. So 16, my 6 would go in the ones place and my 1 would go in the tens place. So this is the way this should be written as 16. So now going ahead and looking at what you should have written on your foldable. So this is, again, everything you should have written down for example 3. Okay, so now all we have left to do is do question number 4. So going back to our Google slide, for number 4, it says Video Store A charges a $15 account setup fee and $1.75 per movie rental. Video Store B charges a $7.50 account setup fee and $2.25 per movie rental. What number of movie rentals will make the total cost of renting movies from Video Store A equal to the total cost of renting movies from Video Store B? So for Video Store A, my equation, it says they charge $15 for the setup fee for the account. That word "and" is telling me I'm adding $1.75 per movie rental. Again, that word "per" tells me that the 175 gets the x. So the equation here would be 15 plus 1.75x. Then we have Video Store B. So here it says they charge $7.50 for their setup fee, and that means I'm adding $2.25 per movie rental. And again, that word "per" means x. So to represent the cost for Video Store B, they charge $7.50 for their setup fee plus $2.25 per movie rental. Now the question asks, what number of movie rentals, which is X, will make the total cost of renting movies from store A equal to the total cost of renting movies from video store B? So I'm setting them equal to each other. So I have 15 plus 1.75x equal 750 plus 2.25x. So my first step is to now see. I have two x's on both sides of the equal signs, so I need to combine them. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to start off by identifying my smaller x value. So here I see that I have my 175x is smaller than 225x. So I'm going to go ahead and move that over to the other side. Since it's being added right now, I'm going to go ahead and subtract it. This cancels out. I'm left with 15 equals. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. 750. Then I have 225 minus 175. That equals 50. 0.50, so 0.5x. Now, again, my goal is to move, my goal is to have x's on one side and my numbers on the other. So I have my x's all on one side. I just need to get my numbers on the same side. So I need to see what number is being added or subtracted to my x value. So right now I have 750 being added. So that means I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite, and I'm going to go ahead and subtract this. So this cancels out. I'm left with 0.5x equals 15 minus 750, which is just 750. Now I need to see what number is either multiplying or dividing my x value. So right now I have 0.5 multiplying x. So I'm going to go ahead and now divide. I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to divide by 0.5. So this cancels out. I'm left with x equals 750 divided by 0.5, and we get 15. So here x equals 15. So putting this into our griddable, our 5 will go in the ones place and our 1 will go in the tens place. So I have 1, 5, this makes 15. So now going ahead and looking at your foldable. Okay, so again, this is everything you should have written down for number 4, and that was your foldable on modeling and solving equations as well as word problem equations. So remember to go ahead and glue this down on page 6. Make sure you have watched the video on your inequality symbols as well as your formulating equations and inequalities, and then you're good to go. You can go ahead and complete your assignment for today.